appeared in the last few years of DILR section of CAT examination. So friends, in this series last week, in my last session, we have seen one of the basic set of data interpretation from games and tournaments, the set that appeared like 20 years back in CAT 2020, in CAT 2000. Okay, and we have solved that set, and using that set, we could understand the very basics of this area. Right now, wait, let me check if I'm clearly visible and audible. Okay, yes, I am. So, friends, what we saw in the last week was the basic set involving the conventional games and tournaments, and we have seen some of the very basics related to knockout and round robin tournaments. Right now, we will continue from where we have left in the last lecture. So in the last lecture, we have seen a very basic question in which there were 16 teams which were divided in two different groups. And in each of the groups, they were playing one match with every other team. So in every group, one team will play exactly one match with every other team. So that was a round robin in the first, I can say the first stage of the tournament. And then four teams were selected from each of these groups, and after that there was a knockout that happened between these 4 plus 4, that is 8 teams, right? So we saw different type of questions involving the total number of matches in the tournament, the minimum number of wins required to qualify for the second stage, right? So we have seen different type of questions in that session. Now, using those basics that I explained in the previous session about knockout and round robin, we will be taking ahead one more set that is based on, I'll not say exactly that concept, but similar to whatever we have seen in the last session. All right. Now, one very peculiar thing that we saw in the set that I explained in the last week, that it was clearly mentioned that every match will result in either a win or a lose for a team or a loss for a team. Okay, so there will be a definite result in every match that was played in that tournament that we discussed in the last week. Now, there will be a small change, a small tweak in these rules. Okay, so today we will be looking at what will happen in the similar questions if you are given that there may be 3 different possibilities of the results. Okay, I can win, I can lose, or the match will end in a draw. Okay, so will one more addition of like in the directions that will be given to you. Let's see what change it will make if, or like on the overall structure of the question, right? How we'll be approaching the questions in the last set when there was a win or a loss, versus how we'll be approaching in these questions where there can be 3 possibilities: win, loss, or draw. All right, so let's see what difference it will create in handling these questions. All right, so friends, let us begin solving these questions. So first of all, on this screen, the complete set of directions. So that's it. This is the complete set of directions. Read it carefully, and then I take you to the next slide on which you will look at the very first question related to this set. Now, the students who have joined in a little late, now this is a continuation session from the last week where I explained the basics, the fundamentals of games and tournaments, the conventional games and tournaments, the round robin and the knockout. Right? Those who were present in this last session, they will understand each and everything that will be covered in today's session. If somehow, because of any reason, you were not able to attend the previous session, so it will be available in the recorded format on YouTube channel of Career Launcher. You have to just scroll back and watch that session. All right. Now, in today's session, whatever rules were given in that tournament, there is a small change. Okay. And this small change will create big differences. Okay, so let's see what difference it will create in the approach, in the answers of the similar questions that we have seen in the last week. All right. Now, read these statements and post done in the chat box once you are done reading each and every statement. Okay, and then I'll take you to the questions. Meanwhile, I'll read these statements with you. I'll read these directions. So, direction says that 16 teams have been invited to participate in the XYZ tournament of football. Okay, so in the last question, there were 16 teams only, right? The second point, the teams are divided into two groups. Each group consists of 8 teams, with each team playing every other team in its group exactly once. Exactly the same thing that happened in the previous question. Okay. Now, the third statement, 3 points are awarded for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 points for a loss. So, there was no point system that we discussed in that previous set. Okay. So, in the previous set, it was a win or a loss. So, no points were awarded. Fine. Now, when there is there is not a possibility of any draw, okay, in the type of set that we have discussed earlier, when there was win or loss, okay, so awarding any points for a win, right? It will be the same thing if we will not even discuss about the points. But when you have a draw, when you have a possibility of draw, then these things will make a difference. Okay. So now in today's question, we have +3 for a win, +1 for a draw, and 0 points for a loss. Right. So this is one big change that will affect the answers, that will affect the approach that we'll be using for these questions. Now, next is at the end of first stage, top 2 teams from each group in terms of the number of points will advance to the semi-finals, and the winners of the semi-finals to the finals. Okay. Now, earlier there were 4 teams from each group which will be selected, and then they will be playing the knockout. Now, here 2 teams from the first group and 2 teams from the second group will be selected. So out of 8, now we are selecting 2 from each of these groups. Now these 4 teams will play semifinals, and the winners of the semifinals will play the finals, right? Now, last statement, if 2 or more teams end up with the same number of points at the end of the first stage, so we have some criteria to resolve the tiebreaker, right? So this is a very general statement that will be given in this type of questions. So if 2 or more teams ends up with the same number of points, then at the end of first stage, the team with the best goal difference plays highest, and it advances to the next stage, right? So basically, from the 2 groups, group 1 and group 2, having 8 teams each, only 2 teams will be selected for the semifinals, right? So if, let's say, at any point we are unable to select the top 2 teams based on the number of points, right? This will happen only if like among the top few teams there are equal number of points. Okay, so then we have at the end of first stage a way using which we'll be able to find out which team will qualify for the next round. So there is no problem at all, right? Okay. Now, once you are done reading all these statements, please post done in the chat box, and then I'll take you to the next, to the first question. Okay. And if you have any confusion related to any of these directions, please do ask me right now. Okay. So if you have any confusion related to any of the points, point number 1, point number 2, point 3, point 4, and point 5. If you want me to explain any of these pointers, please tell me and I'll elaborate that. Now, Timothy says done. So, Timothy, you are good with these directions. Okay, fine. Now, Aranya wants me to explain point number 4. Okay. Now, point number 4. So, I'll give you the blueprint what is happening here. Okay, so we have a total of 16 teams. Look at the top of your screen. We have total of 16 teams at the beginning of this tournament. Now, in stage one, these 16 teams are divided in 2 groups, and each group has 8 teams. Okay, now within each of these groups, that means within 8 teams, every team will be playing exactly 1 match with every other team, right? So there will be a round robin, let's say in group number 1 or at stage 1, and there will be another round robin in group 2, right? In the stage 1. Okay, now once stage 1 is over, 8 teams of group 1 will be arranged as per the decreasing order of their points. Okay, जितने भी points score किए हैं out of whatever matches that they have played, they will be arranged in the decreasing order, and top two teams will qualify for stage 2. All right, we call it stage 2, right? So top two teams from group 1 and top two teams from group 2. Now, how many teams do we have now? We have 4 teams. Look at the bottom of your screen. Now, among these 4 teams, knockout will happen. So let me call these teams as A, B, C, and D. So let's say A and B will play, C and D will play. Okay, right? So this is called semi-final, right? This is called semi-final, right? There will be 2 matches. The winner of this match and the winner of this match will go and will play the next final match. Okay, so after semi-finals, let's say among A and B, A is the winner. Among C and D, C is the winner. Okay, so A and C will play final of this tournament, right? So this is the entire blueprint. This is what will happen in this case. All right. Now let me take you to the first question. Now, first question is very easy. I'm sure that all of you must have already done the calculations. So how many matches are there in the tournament? So what is the total number of matches in this tournament? All right, Meghatri. Wonderful. So I was telling you that some of you must have already done the calculations. Okay. So answer to this question, how many matches are there in the tournament? Yes, come on. Any answer? Moksh, Aranya, Timothy, and the other students who are already present here. How many matches are there in the tournament? Now let's discuss it once again. Now, first of all, stage 1. So group 1 has 8 teams and group 2 also has 8 teams, right? 16 teams were divided in 2 parts. Okay. Now, what is happening here in each of these groups? So they have mentioned that the teams are divided in 2 groups. Read point number 2. Each group consists of 8 teams, with each team playing every other team in its group exactly once. So within a group, each of these 8 teams will play exactly one match with every other team. Timothy, focus here. Huh? Now you can ask me if you have any kind of doubt once I'm done with the explanation. Right? So each of these 8 teams will play exactly one match with every other team. Now, just as an explanation, like I'll be giving you 2 different ways of finding the number of matches in case you have a round robin. So let's say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. These are 8 teams. So A, first of all, will play 7 matches, right? A will not play a match with itself, but A will play exactly one match with every other 7 teams. So A will play 7 matches, right? Now A has already played its all 7 matches. Now A will not play any other match. Now B will play with each of the remaining 6 teams. Now B has already played with A, right? Between A and B, only one match will happen. So if A has played with B, B will not play with A again. Okay? So A has already played 7 matches. B will play remaining 6 matches with the remaining 6 teams. Now B's number of matches, B's quota of matches is over. So now C will play with the remaining 5 teams. D will play with the remaining 4, remaining 3, remaining 2, remaining 1, and no match remaining. Now add these numbers and you will get the answer. All right. So 0, 1, 2, 3, if you'll add all these numbers, that will be your answer. Okay. This is one way. Another way is if there are n number of teams, then the number of round robin matches will be n into n minus 1 upon 2, or you can say that nc2 in terms of combination. Okay, so n into n minus 1 upon 2 or nc2 will be the total number of matches. Right? Now, in this case, in the first group, 8c2 or 8 multiply 7 upon 2, that is 56 matches. Sorry, 56 divided by 2, 28 matches will happen among group 1, and another 28 matches will happen among the teams of group 2. All right, Timothy, you will understand your mistake. I hope you have already. Okay, so I believe instead of 28 and 28, you have taken 56 and 56. Okay, so it will be 28 matches in group 1, 28 matches in group 2. Okay, now stage 2, there are 4 teams. Okay, among which there will be 2 matches. Right, so these will be semi-finals, and then there will be one final match. So I can say that in stage 2, there are 2 plus 1, 3 matches, right? Now in stage 1, there were 28 plus 28, 56 matches. In stage 2, there are 2 plus 1, 3 matches. 56 plus 3, the total number of matches will be 59. Okay, so the correct answer of this question is equal to 59. I hope I'm clear to each and every one of you. So that was pretty simple. Those who were present in my first session of games and tournaments, guys, why don't you also watch the recording of the first session? Okay, the previous session that I have taken, like it happened the last week. The timing was 8:30 p.m. only. Okay, so just have a look at among the sessions that I have taken. Okay, and in that session, I have explained each and every concept in depth for knockout and round robin. Okay, all right. So 59 will be the answer. Now let's look at the real question. Question is, what is the minimum number of points a team may score in order to move to the semifinals? What is the minimum number of points a team may score in order to move into the semifinals? Now let's see who will be able to answer this one. Now here we don't have to find out the number of wins. We have to find out the minimum number of points. +3 for a win, +1 for a draw, and 0 for a loss. Okay, so this is how the points will be given. I have to find out what is the minimum number of points a team may score in order to move into the semifinals. Number of points, not the number of wins. Okay. Okay, what I'll do is I'll quickly copy the direction set. Okay, so those who have joined late, they may also have a look at the directions which are given at the bottom of the screen. All right, any answer? Meghadri, Timothy, Aranya, Harsh, Moksha, any answer, and other students who are also present. All right. So one of the students has given the answer. I'll write these numbers at the top. So I'm getting an answer from one of the students as 15. Nice, very good. Moksha says 9. So Timothy and Moksha, can you give the explanation for your answers? Just a brief explanation, what will happen? Yes, anyone? What is the minimum number of points a team may score in order to move into the semifinals? A team has to move into the semifinals. Okay. Now, the last statement says that look at the given data. If two or more teams end up with the same number of points at the end of the first stage, the team with the best goal difference is placed highest and it advances to the next stage. So this is given to us. So Moksha and Timothy, what have you done? Can you give me a reason for your answer? Okay, now let's read this one. Minimum number of points a team may score in order to move into the semifinals, right? So I'll consider the teams A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, right? I know that every team will play exactly one match with every other team. Okay, so for every team, there are 7 opponents. So every team has a total of 7 matches, right? Now, since we have to minimize the number of points, and we'll have to look at a team's possibility, not surety, to get into the semifinals, to get into the next round. Again, I'm talking about the possibility, not surety. Okay, so I'm looking for the possibility for a team to get into the next round, and we have to minimize the number of points. Okay, now there are 28 matches in the tournament. Now, if every match will have a result, that means in every match, if a team will win and one team will lose. Okay, so total how many points will be distributed? Every match, 28 matches, every match a team will win, will get 3 points. So in every match, there are 3 points which will be distributed. Okay, 3 points will be given to the winner. So 28 into 3, that is 84 points will be distributed in total if every match will have a winner and a loser. All right, total 84 points. Now, since we have to minimize the number of points, so we should also be minimizing the total points which will be distributed. Okay. So if each of these 28 matches results in a draw, हर एक मैच अगर draw में result हो गया, ठीक है? So in a draw between two teams, each of these teams will get 1 point, right? So I can say that every match there will be 2 points that will be distributed. So in 28 matches, 28 into 2, 56 points will be distributed, right? Fine. So we should be minimizing the total number of points, right? So we should be keeping one thing in mind, that every match may not result in a win or a loss. Okay, there may be some matches that may result in a draw. That will minimize the number of total points. Okay, or that will at least, if not minimize, that will reduce the total number of points which are distributed in the tournament. Okay, right? Now, if I'll take a hypothetical scenario that all the matches which are played in the tournament are draw. So A has played 7 matches, all of them are draw. So A will get 7 points. One draw will get 1 point, 7 draws will get 7 points. So each of these teams will get 7 points, right? Each of these teams will get 7 points. Now the team who has scored more number of goals will be at the top of the table, and the others will be at the bottom of the table, right? So this may be one hypothetical scenario when all the matches will result in a draw. Every team will have 7 points at the end of the first stage, and any two of these teams will qualify for the semifinals, right? Clear? So I can say that answer can be 7. The number of points, or after getting 7 points in the first stage, a team may qualify for the next round. A team may qualify for the semifinals, right? Now, can we further minimize this value? Can we further reduce this value? So can the answer be even less than 7? Let's have a look at it. Now, let's take another scenario in which, like, since we know that only the top 2 teams will qualify, okay? So let's make the team A win all the matches, right? So A will win 7 matches, right? So in these 7 matches, A will have 7 multiplied 3, that is 21 points. Now, obviously, A has won all the 7 matches, so A will definitely qualify for the next round. Okay, right? Now, remove A from this group. Okay, because A has already qualified after winning all the matches, right? Now, look at the remaining 7 teams. Look at the remaining 7 teams. Now, these remaining 7 teams among themselves, they will play 6 matches each, right? And let us assume that the remaining matches among these 7 teams, all of them ends in a draw. Sare ke sare matches draw ho gaye. So B has remaining 6 matches, all of them are draw. So 6 draw will give it 6 points. Similarly, 6 draws for C will give 6 points, right? And every team will score 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 points, right? Now A, which has already qualified, this is team number 1, and one more team among the remaining 7 teams will qualify for the next round. All right. So I can say that even after scoring 6 points in the stage 1, a team may qualify for the semifinals. So the minimum possible answer, the minimum possible number of points for this will be equal to 6. All right. Timothy, Moksha, am I clear with this answer? Yes or no? Perfect. Now let's move on and look at the next question, question number 3. What is the minimum number of matches possible to be won by a team in order to reach the finals? Now you will be able to give this answer very quickly. I want to reach to the finals. Important word, reach to the finals. Okay. So what is the minimum number of matches possible to be won by a team in order to reach the finals? All right. Now this one is very easy, huh? I hope you are catching the logic behind solving these questions. Okay. So एक छोटा सा statement change हुआ and it has created a big difference, a huge difference in the approach of this question. Absolutely, Timothy. Moksha, Megadri, good. So this one is easy now. So if I'll go back and refer to the things that I've done in the previous question, now in this case, we have seen that A, who has won all the matches, fine, it will go to the semi-finals. And any other team among B, C, D, E, F, G, H, without winning a single match, can qualify for the semi-finals, right? So I can say that in stage one, there is no need to win any match. Zero wins, even zero wins will take you to the semi-finals. Now you just have to win semi-final because it's a knockout round. So you will win semi-final. That means one match and you can reach the finals. Okay. So to reach the finals, minimum possible number of matches that a team needs to win is equal to 1. Okay, so 0 wins, Harsh, 0 wins, minimum possible number of matches. So Harsh, if you were present when I was explaining the previous one, so can we say that even without winning any match, a team may qualify for the semi-finals, right? If I draw all the 6 matches, like you can see that for the team B, C, D, E, F, G, H, so they will lose to A and will draw all the matches. So that means 0 wins. With 0 wins, you can reach semi-finals. Now you just need to win semi-final to reach to the finals. So the answer for this question will be equal to 1. Okay. All right. Now the next question. What is the maximum number of points a team scored in the first stage but still got eliminated? Maximum number of points. Now, whatever is required for this question, I've already taught you in the last lecture, in the last session of games and tournaments. So you should be able to answer this one. Quickly give me an answer for this one. Maximum number of points a team scored in the first stage but still got eliminated in the first stage. Yes, any answer? Okay, Moksha says 18. The only answer? Okay. So let's see what we did in the last session. So there are 8 teams, right? Now we have to maximize the number of points. So that means we should be maximizing the number of wins as well. Okay. So you can change the question to what will be the maximum number of wins a team scored in the first stage but still got eliminated. Okay. Now, working on this, I'll start by assuming that A won all its matches. So these are the number of wins that I'm writing. Okay. B win all the remaining 6 matches. C won 5, then 4, then 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay. Now I know that the top 2 teams will qualify. So if this particular thing happened, then A and B will qualify, and C with 5 wins, 5 multiplied by 3, that means 15 points, will get eliminated. Okay, so this is clearly in front of us, right? This is clearly in front of us. But we want to maximize the number of points a team scored. Okay, now here I have assumed that A has won all the matches. So let's assume further that of the match between A and C, here I have assumed that A has won this match, but let's reverse the result. So the match between A and C is won by C. So one win will be removed from A and will be added to C. So now A has 6 wins, B has 6 wins, and C also has 6 wins. So now I can see that there are 3 teams which will have 6 wins. Multiply by 3, 18 points with A, 18 points with B, and 18 points with C. Okay, but focus on the number of wins. A, B, and C, they have 6 wins each. Okay, and only 2 of them will qualify. So can I say that the third one will not qualify? Whosoever it is, I am not at all bothered about that. But out of these 3, only 2 can qualify and 1 will not qualify. Okay. And what are their points? Their points are 18 each. So I can say that even after scoring 18 points, one of the teams will got eliminated from the first stage. Okay. So the answer will not be 15. Answer will be 18. Kasak, I hope you have understood this. Okay. Now, Kasak, if you were not there in the last class, go back and watch the recording that will be available on the YouTube. In the previous session for LRDI, in the next week, I think the session was on Thursday or Friday. Okay, wait, I'll tell you, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it must be on Friday. Okay, Friday ko hoga session. So Friday ko hua tha, and you can watch that session. And in that session, I have explained each and everything which is required to answer such questions. Okay, so answer is 18 for this question. Meghadri and Harsh and Moksha, all 3 of you have given a correct answer. Okay, all right. So friends, that is all about this set. This was a very short and crisp set, but I hope you are slowly catching up with the logics that we are explaining in these sessions. Okay, and these sessions will keep on going like this. Now, in my next session, I'll be continuing with games and tournaments, and we'll be discussing another higher level of difficulty of questions, another different types of questions that may be there under games and tournaments. All right. Now, friends, I am here for the next few minutes. In case you have any kind of confusion, if you want any session, any type of questions to be covered, then please post it in the chat box. I also know that in the last week, I have promised to cover the basic set of data interpretation from pie charts, right? So in the series that I'm taking for the basics of data interpretation, students requested me for pie charts. And yes, in the next few sessions in that basics of data interpretation, I will be discussing the questions of pie charts, right? Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I'll be continuing with arithmetic, the questions on averages from the previous year paper questions of CAT, all right? And in case you have any kind of request, any kind of feedback, you want me to speak on any particular topic, please do post it in the comment section and we'll be considering those requests. All right. So friends, today that is all from my side. A big thank you to all of you for watching this session, for being such an amazing crowd. Please do like this session, share it with your friends and family, and keep watching our YouTube channel. So that's all from my side, friends. Thank you very much for being a part of this session. Have a nice time. Bye-bye.